Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 300 and I think 16. And you are
Yeah, that sounds
with
about right, doesn't it? Yeah.
good. Yeah, we passed the pie. We
Yeah.
passed the pie, and then we spoke to Jed. So that sounds about right. Listeners, you are live streaming, if you are with us. Two High Fist of Khonshu, Rebecca and Ray. Rebecca, hello.
Hello.
I should have
So,
just. I should have gone. Hello.
oh, I wouldn't have listened. I wouldn't have paid attention. Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
It's Blue
Yep.
Monday in the UK, so you get a very drab.
Yeah, but you're on Hollies, or just the day off.
I am. Thank you, America, for Martin Luther King Day, meaning I don't have to
You
do
don't have
any
to
work
work.
this afternoon. Yeah.
Just chillax and talk about some Moon Knight goodness. And as always, loony listeners, you are joining us. Well, for this instance, on a Moonshine. So
Yes.
Rebecca and I will be looking at the latest and greatest from Jed McKay and Federico Sabatini this time, Rebecca. But he's no
Yep. Yep.
stranger.
We had him last time, so there's some continuity there as well. So.
Yes, absolutely right. So we'll be getting into that as the main component of the show. As always, a huge thank you to all our patroonies. Thank you so much for sticking with us. It's a brand new year, and hopefully you'll be with us again. And we've got things happening, as mentioned last episode. Got a little something that preparing for you, so that's good. A big thank you to the likes of big thank you to our principal sponsors, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, and our two other sponsors, CLZ Comics and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. So Rebecca, we're here again. We had a nice chat with Jed, and
We
before that,
did. We got his height out of him, all the things you wanted in life.
yeah,
So.
that really surprised me. What was that, 6'5"?
6'5", yeah.
Tall
Can never
timber.
meet him. Yeah.
Tall timber, yeah. But I mean, we got a lot more than that. Of course, Jed was
Yeah.
always so gracious with his time. We got to chat about the last 6 or so issues, and we got a fresh one coming up, Rebecca.
Yeah.
For those that know Commodore Planet, what's going on
Yeah.
there.
What is going on there? It's a cool cover, though. It's a cool cover.
It is a cool cover. By way of white noise, loonies, there's not much. To be fair, been
No.
a bit busy, but I don't think there's anything, Rebecca. Oh, other
No.
than the rumor, there's that rumor you probably saw.
Which
Did you see
rumor?
that?
Did I see it?
That Moon Knight apparently season 2 will
Oh, yeah.
commence just before, I think, or around the time of Secret Wars when that
Yeah,
movie's out.
I kind of ignore those kind of rumors a little bit because, like, no one really knows the timing, and Marvel changes it to
Exactly.
suit. But
I mean,
but we'll see.
Rebecca.
HMV in the UK has a Moon Knight poster. I will tell you that.
Oh,
I popped in
okay.
yesterday and there was a Moon Knight
Wow,
poster.
HMV, that's a blast from the past.
I never go in. We were killing time before a bus, and I was like, "Oh, look, a Moon Knight poster." Didn't
Yeah.
buy it, but yeah.
Oh, I want to give actually a shout out to one of our valued loonies and one of the hosts of Capes on the Couch, Anthony Sitko. I saw on the Discord, Rebecca. I'm not sure if you saw it. His LCS guy gave him a
I'm
one-to-one.
so jealous.
Oh, how good is that?
Gave
A
him one of the
one-to-one.
cardboard standees. Yeah.
To Mr. Knight. So,
Yeah.
whether you like I mean, I think the LCS guy said to Anthony anyway, I know you didn't like the TV show, but
Yeah.
I could not get this for you. So,
Yeah.
Anthony was over the moon,
Yeah.
pun
It's
intended.
fantastic.
So it just goes to show, loonies, that it pays to support your local LCS and,
Yeah, for sure.
strike up a cool relationship. And if you're lucky, then you might, be fortunate enough to get little
Little bits.
incentives like that as well. Yeah, I know Lilith from Capes on Capes and Lunatics. I know she gets lots of freebies from her LCS.
Nice.
So yeah. Is it Forbidden Planet for you,
Yeah,
Rebecca?
we don't have a comic shop in Milton Keynes anymore, or not a proper one. There's one that does some comics, but they've kind of moved more to games. So I was with them
Right.
for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they don't really do the sort of up-to-date comics now, so I just get from Forbidden Planet. So none of
Okay.
those benefits for me, but that's
Oh, Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, it's all more about, I guess, the supporting. Um, yeah, but it's been
If you have one,
trundling. If you
keep it
have one,
going.
yeah. Yeah, I've been trundling back and forth to Kings. A shout out there. They're doing very well. Nick, speaking to Nick, the owner's son, he's very cool. So yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun. Rebecca, shall we get into straight into our Moonshine review? Because like, there's not much really. There's no point in dilly dallying.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Yes, this is our Moonshine review, and we are going to review Blood Moon Rising. That's issue 19, as we mentioned before. This was released January 11th, 2023, with a cover date of March 2023. We have writer Jed MacKay, penciler and inkers Federico Sabatini, with colorist Rochelle Rosenberg, of course, letterer VC's Corey Pettit, and editor Tom Brevoort. Yeah. So, listeners, if you're not familiar, as
me.
always, Rebecca and I will go through a bare bones. Now, Rebecca, Uncle Ray has not prepared something, nor has Wiki. I
Yeah.
thought maybe they would
So
have done
we'll
something.
just use the one from the comic because we're going to go through it a little bit more than normal.
Oh,
'cause we
that's a
don't
good
have to-
idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So we'll go through that, yeah, and then we'll go through our points. I mean,
It's going to be quite freeform, everyone. It's the post.
It's going to be freestyle.
Yeah.
This is the new era. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be a bit more organised for 20.
Yes,
But,
exactly.
we'll
to be fair, Rebecca, we did release a couple of episodes, quick sticks. So
yeah. I mean, like we
yeah.
just because we had the Jed interview to fit in, we didn't have as much prep time, and
yes,
and also trying to sync up my times and Ray's times and work.
Oh, Rebecca, you are the best spin doctor I've ever heard. Thank you. So,
please, sorry, it's not as organised as possible. It will be again, we promise.
Thank you. Yeah, Rebecca, would you like to just give the
yes,
blurb?
Let's do it. Blood Moon Rising. Moon Knight battled the Structure, a group of vampires led by the Tutor. The Tutor sent the assassins Gran Malin and Nemean after Moon Knight and his allies. The assassins managed to kill Moon Knight's fellow Fist of Khonshu, Hunter's Moon, before they were defeated. A resurrected Hunter's Moon returned to aid Moon Knight during his final battle with the Structure, helping defeat the vampires. Meanwhile, the supervillain Zodiac has been imprisoned since almost destroying the Midnight Mission. Despite being imprisoned and having a new psychotherapist, Dr. Robert Plesko, Zodiac very much remains a threat. ... So not so much a summary of the issue as where we are as it opens.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I have to say, though, I think it's
Yeah.
rather kind to refer to Zodiac as a supervillain.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more a villain right now.
He's a villain if you count
villain with some superpowers. So
yeah, if you count the no pain thing as a superpower, then yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, he's not.
I think it's he's not Doctor Doom.
He's still kind of small fry, and I say that because
a little bit. I mean, that's fair. We love him, but
we love. Yes,
he's got to do a bit more to earn the supervillain.
He's got it absolutely. I mean, and it's rife for more stories there. So not only from Jed, but from everyone else. So
yeah, absolutely sure he will get there. Don't worry, I have faith in him. But,
yes, exactly. Let's before we dive into it, Rebecca, as always, let's I'll chuck up the covers. So this first one, of course, which kind of really got everyone going as well, because
a bit early, right? So
it leaked early, and I think not only that, I think from memory we were all kind of yay 19, it's beyond 18, and we were just happy about that as well. But Commodore Planet. Interesting choice. Nice deep dive. I mean, considering along with Plesko as well. Lovely by Steven Segovia and Rochelle Rosenberg as always. Rebecca.
Yeah.
A second one is the homage variant. Now this is pretty cool. This is by David Nakayama, and It riffs off, of course, Volume 1, Issue 1, Moon Knight, but with a more modern Moon Knight
Cast, yeah.
and cast as well. Yeah, Hunter's Moon, and you've got Reese and Soldier and Tiger as well. So looking good there. Rebecca, I mean, I'd be keen on getting this one.
Yeah, I quite like this one. I quite like this
Yeah,
one.
I
It's nice
should
to have
ask.
Soldier and Reese on the front, and
Yeah, absolutely. And Hunter's Moon looks really cool on the front cover
he
too.
does look pretty cool.
With a slight variation to Tigra there, I
Yeah,
think. Just, I guess, costume and her hairstyles a little bit more modern, I guess. I don't know
yeah,
what
a
you call
little
it.
bit funky.
I should have asked, did you get the regular
Yeah,
cover?
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
did
got the
I as well.
regular
But
ones.
I will, if I have a little bit of extra coin hanging about, I will have a look for this one. That's good.
Yeah, I tend to
Uh,
look a couple of months after and see what's
yeah,
around still. So
that's a good idea. And also, I mean, as a bit of like advice or recommendation as well, there are some really good, depending on where you are, there are some really good marketplaces on Facebook, like in groups.
yeah,
And
there
I,
are. Although
yeah,
I was a little bit dubious about them, but I know
are you?
everyone's done really. Yeah, because you never
Yeah.
know. But I know people who've got really
Oh,
good bargains. So
yeah. I frequent the Aussie ones, and they sell them for literally. You can get them if you're lucky for like cover price. Like I'm talking as in
oh, that's
like for an
nice.
Australian, I can get them for $4, which is half the price they're actually going for
Yeah,
retail. So
yeah.
yeah, it's really worth your while. I mean, I don't know how that translates over in the US, if those are worth it, or in the UK, Rebecca. But of course, you got to be careful. There are some scammers as well. But I tend to just buy from the usual pool
Yeah.
of sellers, and that works. Yes, this other demonized variant by Philip Tan here, Rebecca. A little bit too much happening, I think, for me. For this,
It's not one I'd probably. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not one I would go for. It's not
it's
one that
very
I would go. Oh, I want that on my shelf. You all know by now. I go for prettier stuff generally, but I do like the actual blood moon in the background. So
I love the Blood Moon as well. I do. I mean, I do like the figure of Moon Knight. It's just a little bit confusing. Has he got like a necklace, or
it's
are they
very
extra
spiky.
arms? Yeah, he's got some sort of extra appendages coming off him. Rebecca.
You knew it was coming.
And I think the fourth one, which is the incentive variant.
That's lovely.
So I don't know, 1 to 25, Rebecca, or 1 to 50. I don't know, one of those ratios. One that I'll never be able to get.
Yeah,
Lucio Perillo. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Very
one of those good
nice.
animals. Yeah, yeah. It is very
Mm,
nice.
Moon Knight's costume, dare I say, it's literally painted on, Rebecca,
Yeah,
is it not? It's
yeah, yeah. Literally, it's not that. It is just his. It's literally a naked Moon Knight with painted white.
exactly. And a cape. Yeah, the moon on the background in the background as well, but nice kind of old architecture that he's leaping off to. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate that as well. Yep. So those are the covers. Yeah, Rebecca, and I guess first impressions then. Shall we say first impressions? What did you make of issue 19?
It's pretty much setting. It's kind of like a stopping point, and then
Mm.
setting up whatever's going to come next. So it has that kind of sudden change of pace from what we've just had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I thought it was interesting, but not necessarily wholly the standout issue of the run, I should say. Like it was nice to see Zodiac again, and actually have a bit more to do. It was great to get the extra bit of the lore from Hunter's Moon
Mm-hmm.
about what happens when you're resurrected. Very much reminds me of the Iron Fist, Immortal Iron Fist, where you find out that all the previous Iron Fists died at 33. It's kind of like as
Mm.
if there's this kind of
Yep.
ticking time bomb behind them, and setting up that in this next arc, Mark isn't going to have that sort of comfort blanket of you can be resurrected. So it seemed
Yeah.
that it was maybe a little bit exposition-y,
Mm-hmm.
but it was set to action. So that I think that balanced it, and I think from some of the comments, different people have reacted to how the balance was done,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
better or
For
worse.
sure.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I think it's a setup for what we're gonna get next, and yeah, worked for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar with you. I mean, I think it's as far as like it's a weird one because, like, as far as setups go, like, this is the beginning of the next arc, and we've talked about in the past about the first issue setting up what's to come. I feel it kind of it doesn't do that in the traditional sense, because I mean, after with the cover of Commodore Planet, and the Mole Men
Hmm.
and a little bit of Zodiac, I still don't know where it's going to go for this arc.
Yeah.
But it does give those bits of info, as you say,
Yeah,
most notably.
we know what we're playing with. We just don't
Yes.
necessarily know what the trajectory is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is it going to be another Zodiac centric arc? I mean, because it opens up with Zodiac, and although he's actually got motivation now, because jumping into one of the points, Plesko kind of gets under his skin by telling him that Soldier, hello.
He just cried. I don't know if you heard him in the mic, but he was
No.
crying for attention. So.
Live streamers, you can see our fourth High Priest of Khonshu. Yeah, Plesko gets under Zodiac's skin and tells him that Soldier is actually alive, because Zodiac pits Soldier's death as one of his
Yeah,
wins.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know whether that's the case. Apart from that, Commodore Planet, I don't think he'll cause any more trouble. We got kind of almost like a case of the week with Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon
Yeah.
going in, to get the mole to help the mole men. But I think the crux of this issue was, as you mentioned, Hunter's Moon's revelation about the Fist of Khonshu's and that question that he poses. So, yeah, it's a weird one as setups go, because I don't know where it's going to go from here, but it was enjoyable. It has all the pieces kind of moving. Yeah. What's one of the first kind of major aspects of this? What do you want to tackle first, Rebecca?
Well, I think we have to tackle the resurrections.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, that's the most, like, to me, the most important thing that actually came up here
Yes.
is finding out that
Oh, it
that's
was a
the
huge.
I mean, that's the revelation, isn't it? Is that
Yes.
whichever Fist of Khonshu dies next will not be resurrected because
Mm-hmm.
Khonshu. Oh well, I mean, there is a clause to that though. They will
Yeah.
not be resurrected while Khonshu's imprisoned.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I suspect that get
That's
out
true.
clause might be of interest.
Oh, that's very astute, actually. Yeah, you're right, because there's that little, because the way I read it initially was like, oh damn, so
Yeah.
that's it.
And I think that's the kind of, well, there is this get out clause which is
Yeah,
free Khonshu. So I wonder if, like, I mean, and that would be a very cool team up for Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon,
yeah,
for Mark and Hunter's Moon, I guess we should say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
To
It
how can we free him, and can we free him before one of us needs? I mean, I like neither of them have thought of that yet, so I wonder if one
yeah.
of them will have to be fairly injured before that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know where we're heading, Rebecca. I'm going to call it out right now. The last episode of last year, Mario, one of his predictions, and I've
Mhm.
got the list of predictions waiting to be kind of justified,
Yeah.
assessed. But he did say that there will be a big Khonshu arc coming up. So I can definitely see that, actually. Maybe you're right. Maybe where this is headed is not Zodiac, but maybe it's heading towards a big
Well, I mean,
arc.
like, Zodiac could be the instigator of the,
It could be an
you know.
instigator, but we could get this team up going up to try and
Yeah.
free Khonshu. I mean, how cool is that? Because it does remind me a little bit. Okay, this whole scenario, it reminded you of Iron Fist. It reminded me of both Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Mhm.
because and Wolverine, in the sense that
Yeah.
Wolverine's healing factor, when it goes, it leaves him vulnerable, but you just kind of want him to get it back, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
this Moon Knight at the very beginning, the first page, or first couple of pages, he's here with Hunter's Moon, and Jed McKay kind of like really reminds us that we don't die. That's the point of the Fists of Khonshu,
Mm.
and this is something that Jed has established throughout his whole run. But then, as you say, one of the main aspects of this issue is the fact that resurrecting don't rely on being resurrected, because Khonshu said he's not going to do it again while he's in
Yeah.
prison.
So currently, Hunter's Moon's
Yep.
given him two scenarios. Don't be so
Yep.
cavalier.
Yep.
Don't do stupid things, and also or die and you won't be resurrected. I mean, like, and Mark's had some times where he would probably choose that.
Yep.
So there is an interesting kind of thing there. Is like, is Mark now mentally more stable
Mm.
to not ever consider that maybe I'd be better off not being resurrected
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
having this burden of being Moon Knight? So, like, I
Well,
think he is, but like,
yeah.
we don't know what's coming. So
I mean, also as well, Hunter's Moon mentions that every time you do come back resurrected, you lose a little bit of yourself.
yeah,
Like,
okay. I've
yeah.
also got another. Sorry, I just read the page where he says it,
Hmm.
and I have another theory,
Nice
which is
speculation.
Khonshu's lying.
Ah, okay. He's
Because
just
Khonshu
what he.
lies, and he just wants to be freed.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
my secondary one is Khonshu's unreliable, but he wants to be
Yep.
freed, and he is dangling resurrection, because he
Yes.
knows what Mark's like.
Well, that could easily be the case as well, Rebecca. That's yeah, true as well. Just so like everyone knows, in case you haven't read this issue, so what we're kind of talking about is, so the Fist of Khonshu. I mean, only recently Hunter's Moon got resurrected. He was literally killed. He's come back to life. It's happened to Mark a few times as well. But what's the point at the beginning? They say is it on this page as well? It says that like if we keep on coming back, then how come there's like a Hall of the Dead, right? I
Yes,
think that's the idea. So
which we also, I think we discussed that when we saw the first Hall of the Dead.
mm,
It's like, yeah,
yeah.
where did
So
they
if
come from? And
exactly, and if we are the ones now, like I think Hunter's been saying, like if we're the ones from the 20th century, why are we the ones that are unbeatable when we're just in a long line of legacy like Moon Knights? What differentiates us from everyone else? And I guess that's also maybe a question that
yeah,
Jed is addressing because I think that came up. That came up early in the Bemis run. I remember when Bemis introduced that legacy idea where you saw Cowboy Moon Knight, everyone was going, well,
if they get resurrected, how come? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
So I guess, I mean,
exactly.
like, even if they do free Khonshu and he can resurrect them again, we still have that holding over them, is that you will lose a bit of
Yeah,
your mind, sanity, whatever,
yeah. And
soul.
I guess, as well, because people, I mean, one of the things that loonies were against in regards to this legacy kind of thing is then it made having Mark be the Moon Knight was what made kind of him special, I think.
Hmm.
But now, like, he's part of Long Line. But I think Jed's done a really good job in making him a unique sort of Moon Knight. And by
Yeah.
having
And
Hunter's Moon
I
counting
think it
him,
still
yeah,
makes him. I mean,
yeah,
it still does separate Moon Knight from other heroes. It's like you
yeah.
can be resurrected, but it's like Doctor Who. There's a cutoff point, whereas you can't after X number of times.
Mm. Oh, is that with Doctor Who? Is it?
With reincarnations, although they kind of cheated
Ah,
and gave him more. So, yeah, but it was originally that you couldn't do it more than X number of times.
I like that idea as well. So
Yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
also means that if at any point Mark isn't Moon Knight and we have a new one, there's a set of rules now becoming
yeah.
established in canon in the last 5 years of like
Mm-hmm.
how long that might last.
Yes. Yeah, very very cool. One of them, I mean, off the back of this talk about resurrection, which is for sure the main point here. I think one of the other main aspects here that I really enjoyed, Rebecca, was this seeing this team up.
Yeah.
It's like a full issue team up now between
I mean,
Moon
we
Knight and
love
Hunter's
seeing them
Moon.
together,
Yeah, but this felt like the actual and official kind of team
This
up.
felt like the first real
Mm,
proper one, not just helping with a thing that Mark's got into, but
yeah,
both going out to do something together.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was fun seeing Hunter's Moon last issue as well, but he came in and there was a lot of fighting. This is like, and because they really do have a deep conversation about
Yeah.
their powers and what their role is. Oh, hello, yeah. So,
Sorry, I'm needed
no,
for cuddling. So
yeah, very cool. Sometimes you just need. It doesn't matter what time of day.
sometimes you just want to
Well,
cuddle.
exactly. Um, yeah, so for me, one of the highlights was this teaming up of
Yeah.
Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight, and I think they look really well together. I think again, Sabatini. There have been some reservations from Loonies about Sabatini's art, and we've raised this as well, but I still think it's great. And as I think Jed said, augmented for sure by Rochelle Rosenberg. So
And here
yeah,
she gets to play with some different color. I mean, they're the same color palette, but because we're
mm.
going underground, so it's a slightly different lighting
Yeah.
um yeah.
This is such a cool idea. I mean, I never would have picked Rebecca Molemen or Moloids.
No, no, me neither.
Sorry.
They're always a surprise to me when they turn up, especially in something like Moon Knight. But I like Moon Knight establishing that he believes the whole Earth is his, like us above, so
Oh
below
yeah,
kind of thing. That was cool as well.
yeah, that was good as well. Like yeah, exactly. His realm is it's not only under the sky; it's
Yeah,
everywhere.
he's gonna protect all travelers
Yeah,
wherever they are.
and so I mean, they go to Subterranea, and the Moloids are being exploited. By I love it, Commodore Planet's henchmen who are dressed up as sailors. So I don't
Yeah,
know. I think it's pretty funny.
which is very funny.
Like I mean, they look like was it Gene Kelly from where was he from? Was it Singing in the Rain?
Oh,
Where he was,
yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just they look like him with the very traditional sailors outfits. But yeah, again, just a quick flashback. You see the Moloids, they're drilling or doing something. Is it revealed, Rebecca? I can't remember.
I don't
Planet. What are they?
remember.
No. But we see a little flashback at the Midnight Mission or the House of Shadows. There's a Moloid there, still in
Yeah.
tatters, still in a loincloth, coming to Mr. Knight. And yeah, so we
Ask
get
for help, which is very sweet.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Another main aspect, Rebecca, I guess, would be this. As we know, we spoke to Jed about him dividing and cutting up the stories. We bounce back and forth to Zodiac and Plesko, but this would be a good.
Yeah, I mean, like they have a good long chat, and we also get a little flashback to Plesko with Mark, with Frenchie. Hooray! First
Yes,
Frenchie appearance in this run, right? Not just a
yes,
mention. First
that's
actual bit of Frenchie. Yeah,
that's right. Hang on, I should
yeah,
go back to the. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a nice little
Driving the
sepia,
yeah.
little Frenchie. His eyes are covered, but yeah, I think you can still see a little bit
Yes,
of moustache.
you got the moustache,
Got the moustache.
so it's all that
Uh,
matters.
But the idea here, though, I guess Zodiac is trying to get underneath Plesko's skin, and he makes the point of, yeah, Mark feels really guilty about his past. You don't seem to be weighed down by all the terrors that you've obviously done alongside Mark.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets under. I
With
mean,
some he's also philosophical about
yep.
psychopathy in America versus perhaps elsewhere.
Oh,
The
Zodiac.
American, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He very much likes carnage. Apparently,
yeah. He did. He
someone
does.
has to. I'll get into trouble for that one.
I want Victor. I want Vic to hear this and
Yeah,
what are you
I
saying?
want Doctor Doom to come bop him, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm on Team Doom there. I'm sorry.
I'm definitely Team Doom.
Yeah,
No one else toots horns. So
yeah. But yeah, so he's just a little, as Jed said, he's a little shit.
yeah,
Zodiac. Happy to say it in his cell. But I think, as we mentioned, as the conversation goes on, I mean, there's talk about. I love his talk about officer guilt. So
yeah,
basically, Zodiac talks about everyone has a conscience. They have a little version of themselves in their head, and officer guilt, like in your
yeah,
head. And he said, "I've killed mine.
yeah,
I like to kill my cops." And yeah, and so he's really distancing himself from his original identity. I mean, he mentions his name Terry again, whether that is his name, Terry in the when he was undercover, I guess, in the Midnight Mission. But he really does want to go by his new name Zodiac as well.
yeah.
So yeah. But then, as I mentioned, we'll get to Senior Planet soon there, Rebecca. As I mentioned towards the end here, yeah. Plesko has the last laugh. So again,
Yeah,
it could go.
I do love that panel of his little eyes. When Plesko's saying "Soldiers fine," you see these little like
Soldiers
sad
fine.
eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, You failed, Zodiac. I love it
And
because,
also, I like that Plesko just walks out the room after
yeah,
he drops that. It's like, nah, you
mic
didn't
drop.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nothing better than, disrupting a smug person, and Zodiac is so damn smug. I love it. I loved it when he kind of got his comeuppance here.
But it's also,
So
this is where he threatens everyone who hangs out with Moon Knight.
yes, I mean, true, true. So like Zodiac to me is a far more effective villain, and I think Jed has a lot more fun with him than say Tutor, because we know the Tutor was the guy that is the big bad, right? He's the guy that employed the likes of was it Rampage? I can't remember that. There was a
I don't remember his name. Yeah,
yeah, Rampage, Zodiac, all these. Hawley, who was the guy with the sweat. So he was big bad, but Zodiac still has this kind of
well, Zodiac's really thought about it and really studied Moon. Like, he's picked Moon Knight for a particular reason,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he has really gone for it in ways other people have maybe been scared to.
Yeah.
And he's really, really serious about it. So yeah, and then this
Yes.
final panel.
Oh, actually, I forgot about this panel. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So this final panel. It is kind of like over Zodiac's final words to Plesko are kind of overlaid onto this.
yeah.
So what do you make of this panel, Rebecca? Because
I
I don't
know if I
recognize these
make
guys.
anything of it. Like,
Yeah, I
think
don't.
it's just this is a hint of what's to come.
They're not
They're
connected
putting
to
bullets in a
Zodiac.
gun.
Are they
They've got.
connected to Zodiac?
I
'Cause
mean, the implication by having his words
that's
over there to me is
yeah,
that they are
yeah, and then him threatening Moon Knight's
him threatening
friends,
me,
and
and while they've got
you've got
dynamite and bullets
yeah,
and
but you have everyone.
polaroids.
You have everyone there as well. You
Yeah.
have Plesko, and it looks like Soldier. I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, that
Um,
could be Soldier.
I mean, I could be wrong. Actually, I don't recognize the. Dr. Sturman is under there
Yeah,
for
Dr.
sure.
Sturman's there.
And I can't make the other three.
Yeah, I don't know
So
the other thing. I mean, there's a moustache there. It could be Frenchy, but he looks like he's dark skinned, so maybe not.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So this is like,
yeah.
I guess, as aspects go, this is one of the
Could be
like what?
Deitrice up top. There's some slight pink hair. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just don't know. Yeah. So
Wild
it's
speculation there. They have very pink gloves, is my other thought, and very red hats. These things do not match.
and masks, and they adorn the. I mean, they adorn issue 20.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to find out more about them. So
I wonder who they are. That yeah. Anyway, so that I guess Jed's left us with a huge kind of question mark as to what
yeah.
is. But that is an interesting point as well, Rebecca. I mean, Zodiac threatening Moon Knight's friends, and his narration overlaid over the last page, and we see it. So I don't know whether he's kind of pre-planned this while he's been in custody or something, but we'll have to see. But very interesting indeed. We should go back, Rebecca, to the guy that adorns the front cover.
Yes.
Some really great kind of fight. So, bouncing between Zodiac and all that, we see Moon Knight Hunter's Moon jump into subterranean fray. A lot of kicking, a lot of throttling as well. Rebecca, very nice. Again, I mean, we talk about the splash pages.
Yeah.
Jed's
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, Jed says it's so easy. He can just like write a couple of words and she's got a whole page
No, he said he
done.
feels guilty, but
Oh, okay,
but they are so impactful that it's
They are.
hard not to, and the artists are killing it. So both Sabatini and Capuccio. Obviously Rochelle Rosenberg, but so the splash pages are always a real joy in this run.
Yep. What did you make of Commodore Planet?
Like, he was just kind of. I mean, he wasn't. His appearance in it wasn't as big a deal to me as I thought it might be. But it was cool to see him again. It's always nice to see people sort of pulled in from older stuff. So,
Yeah.
But it was a pretty easy fight for them, right?
It was, and I have a little quibble because, and I don't remember it fully, but for those that do remember Volume 1, where he does feature, and it's only Moon Knight versus Planet in that instance, and he's super strong. Like, I enjoyed it when he gave Moon Knight the bear hug here. And
Yeah, that was
I thought he actually cracked something because the sound effect was, I thought he actually injured
well,
him.
it's Moon Knight saying it, so I figured it just hurt. Oh no, there is a
Yeah,
crack. Yeah,
yeah, good
yeah.
little crack. But my little quibble was that Commodore Planet seems to have been incapacitated by, boxing the ears. Fair enough. I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty hard.
pretty hard.
Only from what I remembered though, from Volume One, and again, I mean, God, they're different volumes, but you know, comic book fans, Rebecca, we do have a tendency sometimes to try and knit things together. And
Yeah.
Commodore Planet, yeah, he just seemed to have been beaten a little bit too easy. And maybe that links to what you were saying, Rebecca, about you didn't really mind him too much because he just kind of came and went. I would have liked, a little bit more resistance or something. But yeah, I don't know. Did you think that?
But it's
Or...
yeah. It's always cool to see them coming back. But yeah, it was a fun fight, but it was over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him, at least in another issue or something, try to. Uh, but in any instance, we get happy, smiling Moloids in the background, so that's pretty pretty good. There, the splash page here with Commodore laid out, and the Fists of Khonshu doing their job. That's the other thing as well. Like, I mean, I mentioned I like seeing them both together. There's something I don't know, like there's something classical or just really nice about having two fists.
Yeah, it's a really good addition.
I'm hoping Hunter's Moon stays on, for at least them fighting
Yeah,
crime and solving
yeah.
stuff together
See
for at
them
least this
do the odd
arc.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had Moon. We've had Tigra as well, and that's been great. But the fact that these are two, you know, counter opposites or whatever, or part of the same thing. Fist of Khonshu just makes it really, really cool to see them both in action. So I really hope that he sticks around for a longer while. Yeah, and we'll have to.
I agree.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Any other points here, Rebecca, that you want to raise before we give this a score?
I don't think so. I think we've covered all the big important parts.
Yeah, I think so too. And we got to that last page. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I can't remember, Rebecca. The solicits for 20. Is it? Hang on,
I can
let
pull
me
it up
just.
quickly.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it.
Okay, cool.
So it says here because I've got that fandom, that wiki
Oh
thing
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So next issue. This is what I only want to do this, Rebecca. See if we can tease anything out. There's blood on the streets as assassins work their way through a list of names containing those who once formed a Moon Knight shadow cabinet. But with a okay. So the people on the last page, Rebecca, they were from the shadow cabinet.
They're the shadow cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think
cool.
the black haired lady. I think she's Mercy.
Right.
But with a number of potential targets and no idea who's next, how can Moon Knight save his former associates? Okay. Plus, just in time for Black History Month, a second story in which the
Yeah, this is where
Crescent.
Blade comes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. In which the Crescent Crusader crosses paths with the sheriff of the Vampire Nation, Blade, which was incidentally Blade. Was it Blade Nation? Was a great little one shot. Did you
Yeah,
read that?
yeah, I
Yeah,
did,
that
yeah.
was really cool. Working for Dracul,
Yeah.
Blade, unwillingly. But okay, so it looks like if I just before we do our scores, Rebecca, I'm just going to go back to that last page again. So it would seem that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people
Yeah.
are the Shadow Cabinet. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So now we're gonna have to try and protect them before they get whacked.
And it's really open season as to who would have a vested interest in getting rid of them as well. So I think Jed's playing with a clean canvas here. But anybody's guess as to who these guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, out of our Khonshu rating system, Rebecca, what would you give this one? Issue 19, Blood Moon Rising.
I'll probably give it a 7, I think.
I
Mostly
would.
because it's setting the scene so much, and
Yeah, I would totally
I
agree.
want to get to the meat of what's next.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. I enjoy the art, the colors, of course, and yeah, Jed's, he's as I said, he's very consistent. He keeps a few like threads going, so we've got Zodiac still happening. Now we've got these weird Shadow Cabinet assassins, and we've got a forging relationship between Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight. So yeah, all looking good. But yeah, it hasn't really, I don't know, reached some of the heights of some of the prior
Yeah,
issues,
I
Rebecca.
mean, it's made us excited about what's coming next, but now I want to
Yep.
get to what's next as well. So it has a sort of
Yeah.
like double whammy of like I'm excited, I'm interested, but I want to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. So there you go, Looney listeners. Check it out if you haven't already. But before we wrap things up, Rebecca, of course, we do have quotation marks, some Looney
Yes.
feedback. So, would you be so kind of maybe read the ones from Instagram first?
Yes, so
I
we
think
only
you
have
did one.
one from Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
which is from Metal Gun Talk.
Oh,
And they say, kind of a bunch of talking. Learn some lore mechanics though. I find it funny how Khonshu's resurrection power just makes you go hollow like in Dark Souls. Haha. I've not played Dark Souls, but that is kind of funny.
no, thank you, Gunmetal. Yeah, I read this verse as well, and yeah, I mean, hopefully, the talking and the interaction between Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight, there was enough action there as well. But I think all of this stuff is very important to.
Yeah.
I mean, Jed's trying to build Hunter's Moon into the lore as well, and as you mentioned in your comments, yeah, the lore building as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, of course, not everyone's cup of tea, but hopefully you enjoyed it and stay on board for what's to come. Now, just a couple here from our Facebook group. Mario Digicom, he did send a message saying that he will catch this show a bit later. Mario says, I'm sort of mixed on this one, frankly. While the art was ace, as always, especially the scenes with the Moloids in Subterranea, the story felt like a lot of setup with very little payoff. While having the crutch of easy resurrection taken away will certainly change the way Mark works and likely lead to a jailbreak sometime down the line.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, there
I
you go,
didn't read
Mario.
Mario's comment first, so okay, cool. We're
Yeah,
on the
no,
same
no.
page. We're on
Yeah,
the same
Mario's.
page.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's hoping for it. I'm assuming
Yeah.
Mario's. He raised it. The whole conversation between Plesko and Zodiac, while interesting from a philosophical standpoint, doesn't exactly make for engaging reading. Okay, kudos to Jed for making Zodiac's manifesto fascinating without also making it attractive in any way. However, that's good. At least we get a hint of the next arc. I still don't know who the guys in the masks are, but I believe I've identified some of the photos on the table as former Shadow Cabinet members. Yep, which matches solicits. Exactly. Bottom line, 7 out of 10, same as us, Rebecca.
If this podcast proves anything, is that we don't read your comments beforehand, so as not to
Yeah.
sway us too much. So
Yeah, but also Mario, that we're very on the same wavelength.
yeah,
So 7 out of 10. Yeah, not Jed's best issue, but still one of the best books out there. No, thank you so much, Mario. Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I like that, Rebecca, not reading it before we go in because it's
I try
fresh.
not to. I like flick.
Yeah, me
I
too.
sometimes flick them, but I think that otherwise I'll end up
Getting
like, oh,
influenced
not
or
yeah. Well, it's more like stealing someone's idea,
yep,
or not coming to it sort of entirely from like sort of my views. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean like yeah. So I'm always interested in what people have said, but I try very hard not to read those threads too
Yes,
much.
me too as well. I mean, the shorter ones I probably do flick over, but yeah, definitely. But thank you so much, Mario. That's awesome
Yeah,
feedback as always. And lastly, we have Dan Katz. Hi, Dan. I don't think we've heard from you in a while, or maybe before. I loved that after all these years, Commodore Donny still fell to the same ear clap weakness, and Mark took full advantage of that
Oh,
tactical.
nice.
Very cool. Yes.
Very
Okay.
good.
So
Right. Okay. Good.
I missed that.
I missed that
Okay,
too.
right. So he did
Yeah.
box his
Nice.
ears in the first one. Yep. So Mark took full advantage of that tactical information, letting Hunter's Moon take care of him. Fantastic. Full marks there, Dan. Far out. I forgot that little bit. But I just remembered Commodore Planet just throwing Mark all over the place in Volume 1. But yeah, you're right. I guess he boxed his ears at the end to stop him. So easy fix there. Easy fix. Rebecca, I think that pretty much takes us out
Yeah. I
for
think
this We did pretty well, I think, considering it was free for all.
Yeah, probably lucky with the issue it was for that. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So Loonies as well. Yeah, be sure to pick it up if you haven't already. It's out now. Check out those lovely variant covers as well. They look so good too. Well, spectacle, Rebecca. So you were mentioning are you recording anything soon?
I have done a Lost Sons of Krypton,
Lovely.
um,
Yes.
and on Superman the Wake,
Mm-hmm.
and the next DCAU one is going to be Reign of the Supermen. So we're sort of
Mm-hmm.
following that Death of Superman DCAU vibe through the comics and then
Yes.
back to DCAU. So
Nice. Nice. Yes, on my end, nothing much yet. I'll be recording some stuff down the line. But I have been banking, Rebecca. I've been recording some bonus episodes for Patroni.
ooh,
So,
nice.
yeah, so I have a few, and I've got a couple more lined up as well. So, again, uh, if you please consider becoming a Patreon member. And what I'm trying to do, like I did last year, is one bonus episode a month. It's basically it's on a lot of things or anything, Rebecca. So it's not necessarily Moon Knight related, but hopefully you'll get a kick out of all the discussions up ahead. As always, a huge thank you to our patronies, as mentioned at the top of the show, but a shout out to everyone there. I'm going to throw you up onto the screen. Odin Saw, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank, The Think Tank, Derek O'Neill, Justin, The Owl Osgood, Wayne Hunt, Josh Johnson, Anthony Sitko, Russell Moran, Mario Di Giacomo, Matthew Howell, Jonathan Sapsid, and Dan Newland. Thank you so much for all your support. It really does mean a lot. And check out patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight if you want to become a member as well.
Yes.
Also, particular thanks again. I've got to shout our sponsors, Frank the Think Tank. He has a podcast, I Want to Fight It podcast with his nephew Pablo Candy Bar.
Oh,
Fantastic.
lovely.
Yeah, really fun stuff. They fight monsters and they come up with tactics and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So go check that out. Odin Sword on Drinking Marvel podcast. I'm not sure if they're entirely active at the moment, but they've got a nice back catalogue. Go check it out as well. Drew Toombs producing great music, and he's still producing some new stuff this year. Check it out on soundcloud.com/Toombs with a Z or Lurk Music CK. That is Luke Music with a CK at the end, .bandcamp.com. Daniel Doing, still going strong with his creator-owned Fringe Night. Please support him on patreon.com/Fringe Night 27 as well. And CLZ Comics, go check it out. Get your database sorted there at collectors.com, and Dreamland Comics, use the code MOON to get 20% off their online store. Finally, we are part of the collective Rebecca. Fantastic shows that Rebecca does as well, but a whole slew of shows out there. I've got to give a shout out.
They cover everything. They literally
They cover
everything.
everything. Absolutely everything.
Want.
I'll give Capes and Lunatics a shout. They do like a gazillion shows, and Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast. There,
yeah.
good friend Noel and Russell doing great stuff there. Finally, contact-wise, you can contact us on email, feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We've got a website as well, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube too. Just check that out. We are live streaming all of the current content, and there are some extra videos for Patreon members for certain episodes or such. I think that about wraps us, Rebecca.
Yeah, I think that's pretty done and dusted.
What's on the plans for the rest of the holidays? This day off?
The day off. I've got a lot of days off this week actually.
Yeah.
Nothing much today. I'm going to watch
Not
this
much.
Reign of the Supermen, and
Yes.
so I can podcast about that, and then just some relaxing because
Yeah.
getting to 2 on Wednesday. So
Are you reading any graphic novels or any old
I
storylines?
just read Iron Man Noir,
Ooh.
which is amazing. Superman the Wake,
Hmm.
and I am now reading Tales of Suspense. So, but not in
Oh,
reading it on Marvel Unlimited. So going right back to
yeah, nice.
just the Iron Man, starting at the Iron Man one, which is 32, 39. It's in the 30s. So
Okay,
uh,
nice.
we'll see how long I keep that up, but um, because it's a
Yeah,
hell
cool.
of a undertaking to try and read all the Iron Man content.
Yeah, gosh, that will
Uh,
be. But it'll
yeah,
be quite interesting to see all the different kind of eras. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah,
I bet
yeah.
you.
Just at the moment, old wise, I'm just reading. I've just finished the first trade again to Peter David's X Factor. I
Nice.
think, yeah, I think I mentioned about Gambit having the three cats and all that. So that's where I'm
Yes.
picking that from. So that's really cool. Just really good to go back and I'm reading through again the original Spider Verse.
Okay.
Just because I really enjoyed it. There's the omnibus with
I've always
the.
wanted to kind of read that actually. Like I've read
Oh,
bits
you
of it,
should.
but not the whole thing in its entirety.
Oh, okay. Have you got a copy or
No, but I've got Marvel
got
Unlimited.
Marvel Limited?
So
Yeah, and they'll probably do it in the reading order as well because it
yeah,
bounces between
yeah.
all the. It's really satisfying. I just remember when it first came out. So, yeah, reading it again and really enjoying it again. You know, the inheritors and all the different spider people. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Listeners as well, just let us know what you're reading as well. We've got a fan. I forgot to mention the Discord channel as well. It's going great guns, and yeah, just yeah, keep posting some stuff up. Let's discuss Moon Knight and or anything else. But until then, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you
Take
later.
care, everyone. Bye.